All right, this is a recap of the events of today. Um, I needed to get carpet laid in the house, and the contractor could be here on Wednesday. So, as long as I could leave by pretty much midnight, I could make an appointment the next day. Um, So the contractor was going to be here between 8 and 9, and he would be done by 4. I would hit the road and comfortably make it back to Virginia in time. He didn't show up, so I called Georgia Flooring, and they graciously got somebody else to come out, but they didn't get here till about 2:30. And when they got here, the contractor didn't have enough tack strips, so we needed to run out to get some more tack strips. In the meantime, his partner, she sat here and installed tack strips with no problem, did everything fine, but it took Dave, the contractor, 2.5 hours to get back. It was 5 o'clock when he got back. He had to go several places to try and find him and had a hard time. At that point, she started to act odd and wanted to borrow my phone to call her son. After that, her demeanor, personality, and everything else changed and went rapidly downhill to the point where I started recording her because she seemed drunk or stoned or just maybe a little bit of emotional problems. So I started videotaping her, and well, for the next few hours, she wouldn't get any work done. He would tell her to do work. She wouldn't do it. She wasn't belligerent. She just had to keep going out inside, smoking cigarettes, doing whatever, making phone calls, and he wouldn't give her his phone to do that. Then he tried to send her home. They talked about that for a while. And still by 10:30, nothing was done. They were just getting the carpet put down. It hadn't been stretched yet. He's been seaming, and she's just really doing nothing. Yelling, lots of foul language. It would go outside. But then by 11:30, he was going to send her home and went to call a Uber driver. I was out there over listening to their conversation, and it sounded like he was talking to a dispatcher. And instead of calling the Uber driver, he called the police. Now, just to back up a little bit, she wanted to use his phone to call a friend who apparently is a crackhead, according to their conversation, which, again, I've recorded all of these conversations. And he wouldn't let her use his phone. He ended up calling the police, and a couple squad cars came over, and I allowed her to come back in the house to finish the carpet so I can hit the road and get back to Virginia, which I knew wouldn't happen in time. Once 1 o'clock rolls around, it's an impossibility for me to do what I wanted to do in Virginia tomorrow. So I let her come back in, and she sat. There are 2 rooms being carpeted, the family room and the master bedroom. Really, maybe 5 hours worth of work. But she shut the door, and she's in there having a temper tantrum. She's yelling. She's in there screaming. again, which I have recorded. He goes in again, tries to comfort her, calm her down. They don't have a relationship, but he's trying to help her. And I recorded some of that. She threw some things in the room and marked up the paint, which I just painted yesterday, and patched holes. And there's 4 big spots. So he kept trying to get to work. She laid some padding down, but kept going off her rocker. And so I went in. All my stuff is packed up. So I took some toilet paper and went over with the paint the areas that she had marked up. And it's obvious she had marked them up, whether or not it's from when she threw stuff or whatever. But obviously, it was just rolled less than 24 hours ago. This was from them. And I told her, or asked her actually, to be careful because the paint was wet. And she asked why I painted it, and we went over with her again because she marked up the walls, and she lost it. She yelled at me, which I won't allow somebody to yell at me in my home, and I kicked her out. I told her to leave, and she left, went outside, made another scene. So he asked if he should drive her home. So they left at about 1:20. It's now 1:40. One room is almost done. As you can see, but these edges are not done here or here. And the bedroom, he still needs to put metal down here, and he still needs to put the carpet in, and let alone clean. So we have several more hours to go, and not exactly happy.